It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and downs, and there you were.
Welcome to Hour 2 of Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We are broadcasting live from the Concierge Landscape Studios, and we're brought to you this second hour also by Extreme Exteriors. And if you joined us in our first hour, we talked about mortgage banking and
what's happening or what's coming up.
Some of the difficulties that may be in store for people buying in a condo or townhome. If you would like to talk to us about that, we'd love to hear from you as well. But we've got a couple of other stories we're going to talk about as well. One happened right here in Minnesota, in our own Minnetonka, about a week or so ago. There was a woman who's charged with a felony in her HOA, but the security camera gets the last revenge, and we'll talk about that. We also want to talk about this Nevada bill where they might finally be going too far to micromanage homeowner associations. Wait till you hear some of the things that they're talking about. Folks, you're just not going to believe it.
And call us with your questions and comments, 651-289-4488.
Well, let's talk about this. This was just a little over a week ago, and it is a story from the Star Tribune from May 11th. It said a Minnetonka woman is charged with wrecking her condo complex's security cameras. It says a Minnetonka woman allegedly angry at her condominium association for buying security cameras destroyed them with spray paint, according to felony charges filed Wednesday in Hennepin County District Court. Sherry Marie Jakes, 55, is charged with 2 accounts of first-degree damage to property in connection with the April 30th vandalism at the condominiums at St. Albans Mill Road. Charges say the property manager gave police surveillance footage that showed Jakes spraying 4 cameras with paint and WD-40.
So she was trying to destroy the security cameras, but the security cameras got her on tape.
Yes, they
doing
did.
this act. Interesting.
The cameras were damaged beyond repair, and they had to replace them. That was a cost of about $3,000.
Yay.
But now the spray painting incident not only damaged the cameras, but also did damage to ceiling tiles, walls, and other areas, causing $7,000 in additional damage. She also allegedly sprayed glass doors and also an elevator panel. In an interview with police, Jakes allegedly admitted spray painting the cameras because she was angry with the association for spending the money when they did not feel they were needed.
When she didn't feel they were needed.
That's right. She didn't feel they were needed. She also allegedly told police she drank wine and took the sleep aid Ambien before she started the spray painting binge.
I see another lawsuit coming on here.
Jakes was booked Monday at county jail.
It's funny because nobody was hurt. Nobody was physically hurt. And it's funny because we talk to homeowners that are so frustrated over issues like this. And I mean, never does it result in something as crazy as this, where someone actually damages property.
Talk about going too far.
Oh, my gosh.
If you are trying to make the point that your homeowner association is spending money uselessly
on security cameras,
then why would you do damage for something that only have to be purchased once again?
Well, not only that, it's obvious that the association needs security cameras if people like Sherry Marie are living there, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? The interesting thing is we know about this one because we manage this association.
Yes, we do.
And we have a great
full disclosure.
We have a great property manager.
And who has a great relationship with this HOA.
Oh, he knocks himself out.
Yes.
And the people at St. Albans knows that and appreciates it. But he was telling us this wasn't the only thing that's happened at St. Albans, unfortunately. They have had, in the last few weeks, they've had a fire. A major fire at one of the buildings. Now they've had the damage by this homeowner.
Yeah.
And then the last incident was, he said, one of the residents, an 84-year-old woman, ended up hitting the accelerator instead of the brake on the car, and she ended up swerving into a couple of different light posts, taking them out. Taking out a retaining wall and then flipping over in
a
ditch. They had to the police had to come. The property manager said with the jaws of life to get her out. But the amazing thing is, she came out unscathed.
Oh my gosh,
unscathed! So
that's a miracle.
Yes. So she had her seatbelt on. She was fine. But you know what? That association's had.
They've had their share.
They've had
more
their share.
than their share.
And if things go in threes, I'm hoping that's going to be it.
I see in our notes that the woman who spray painted the cameras and caused $7,000 plus damage to the homeowners association also has a long history of taking things into her own hands and doing things that are contrary to the association rules, like cutting and trimming trees and shrubs when they feel like it.
And, of course, those things wouldn't have been in the news article.
That's no. This is a background story.
Yeah.
So, this is a person that's had headbutting contests with the association before and has caused the association expense, much smaller probably than the $7,000, but has been a problem for a while.
Oh, yeah. And, one of the things that just really caught my attention was the word used over and over again in this news article, allegedly.
Yeah.
Now
she allegedly admitted.
Allegedly. Now you have is it allegedly when you have a person who said they saw her do this?
Okay, there was an eyewitness.
And then then there was also the camera that showed footage of her mug and finger as it's being blackened out with paint. So you've got the tape.
Sure.
Then she's picked up by the police. She admits to the police that she did it. I don't know how you can use the word allegedly anymore. Yeah. I kind of think it's pretty much a fact.
Pretty obvious.
I'm thinking.
The other point you brought up is that this is a really good example of why bills like Chris Gerlach's SF 926 in the Minnesota State Senate should not be passed whole cloth.
Oh, yes. And it wasn't. And again, we've been talking about that a number of times in past shows. But one of the bills at the legislature that finally was, I think, kind of set aside just because the budget took front stage this year in getting that passed for the state, lucky for us, it was a bill that had a provision for homeowners. And we're probably going to see this next year. That's why we keep telling our listeners about it, because we're going to need you to help us in being active when the time comes. Contacting our state legislators about this. But this provision stated that a homeowners association would be prohibited from being able to perfect a lien against the homeowner and being able to foreclose on charges of violations for violation fees. They could do it. They could
damages. Do you think it would exclude lien for damages to property?
I don't know. It's not that clear.
It's not. It isn't clear. It says it's basically saying that you can only foreclose for unpaid assessments,
unpaid monthly assessments.
So that would exclude fines, violation fees, and damages like this $7,000.
And you're right. And the problem that I have with something like that is that here you have a clear case of an association that is over $10,000 in damage. Mm-hmm. That's nothing to sneeze at. No. That homeowners are going to have to make up.
Right.
Wasn't accounted for, wasn't provided for in the association operating fund. There isn't a line item for wild binges on Ambien and liquor. So people need to be able to know that their homeowner association has the ability
to collect this money.
And that means being able to have that enforcement piece.
Yeah.
If the enforcement piece isn't there, people that are flagrant, repeat violators at any association, and every association has those one or two.
It seems like it. Yep.
They will be racking up all these bills. The association will be paying all these fees to get things redone. And maintenance done, repaired, and they can't remove this person from the property.
That's right. The proposed legislation comes from this place that assumes associations are trying to evict people and foreclose on people's homes for an absurdly small amount of late fees or a small amount of fines.
Well, you're right.
That comes from this place that associations are so evil, they're going to persecute the woman with cancer by foreclosing on her home for $500 in late fees and fines. I really want to know, have you ever heard of that happening?
It is.
Have you ever seen that happen? Not just heard. Have you ever seen that happen?
I'm sure it has. I can't think of it.
But not to you personally.
I can't think of an instance with any properties that we manage that
I would like to hear from someone who has actually been involved in a foreclosure like that. I really would, because it's crazy to legislate for a thing that happens so rarely or not at all.
Well, you're right. An association isn't going to throw good money after bad.
That's right.
And they're not going to take thousands of dollars to move forward on foreclosure if someone only has $100 fine.
That's right. Now, if someone has gone a year without paying their assessments, that's a year's worth of assessments plus late fees, probably. Yeah. And anyway.
But I'm sure it does happen, Tony. I mean,
we've heard of it.
Our property management in the news stories week after week lead me to believe, there's enough crazies out there that
on boards.
On boards,
that will actually I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I'm just saying, how often does it really happen in the state? I'm talking about the state of Minnesota.
Well, and the point, and I think the point you're making is it is never a good idea to make a law out of something that is an exception as opposed to the rule.
Exactly.
Something that is just very finite as opposed to something that's happening.
That's right. This is not a common misuse of power.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
But anyway, we for this story with the woman in Minnetonka, I hope she does get some of the help that she needs.
That's right. And like you pointed out to me, this is something now that has a life of its own. The association, it doesn't have to take any more action. The scope and the cost of this flagrant property damage, it's criminal charges, and now the state takes over.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And so that is with the Minnetonka woman last week who wrecked the condo complex's security cameras. Well, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to give you the inside scoop on Asphalt 101. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right here on Where You Live with Gene and Tony on AM 1280 The Patriot. Back after this.